A frozen wasteland at the bottom of the world, a place so remote that entire armies could vanish beneath its ice without a trace. What if one of history's darkest regimes left something behind in Antarctica, something we're only beginning to understand? In 1938, Nazi Germany launched a secret expedition to Antarctica. They called it Neuschwabenland, New Swabia, and claimed a vast territory larger than Germany itself. The mission involved warships, seaplanes, and orders that remain partially classified to this day. This isn't just a conspiracy theory whispered on internet forums. German naval archives confirm the expedition happened. What remains disputed is what they built there, what they found, and whether any of it survived the war. The story begins in December 1938. A German aircraft carrier, the Schwabenland, departed Hamburg under the command of Captain Alfred Richer. The crew included scientists, pilots, and military personnel. Their official mission was to map Antarctica and establish a whaling base. Their real orders were more complicated. The expedition reached the Antarctic coast in mid-January 1939. Over the next several weeks, German planes flew more than a dozen survey missions across the ice. They dropped thousands of metal swastika markers across hundreds of thousands of square kilometers. These weren't just symbolic. They were territorial claims planted deep in the ice to mark boundaries. The Germans photographed mountain ranges, warm water lakes, and ice-free valleys heated by geothermal vents. Some reports mention caves large enough to shelter aircraft. The expedition returned to Hamburg in April 1939, just months before World War II began. Captain Richer filed a detailed report. Much of it was classified and locked away. During the war, rumors spread among Allied intelligence agencies. Some claimed the Nazis were building a secret Antarctic base. Others dismissed it as propaganda. But captured German naval officers mentioned submarine supply routes to the far south. U-boats were documented traveling toward the Antarctic Circle long after the war in Europe had ended. In July 1945, 2 months after Germany surrendered, 2 German submarines arrived in Argentina. U-530 and U-977 both made the journey from Europe, taking unusual southern routes. The captains claimed they were simply fleeing Allied capture. Intelligence officers weren't convinced. Interrogation transcripts show repeated questions about Antarctica. The answers were vague. 1 year later, the United States launched Operation High Jump. It was the largest Antarctic expedition in history. 13 ships, 4,000 personnel. Led by Rear Admiral Richard Byrd, a decorated polar explorer. The stated mission was scientific research and military training. The operation was scheduled for 6 months, but ended abruptly after just 8 weeks. Admiral Byrd gave a strange interview to a Chilean newspaper shortly after returning. He warned of a new enemy that could fly from pole to pole at incredible speeds. The U.S. military never officially explained the early withdrawal. Classified mission logs remain partially redacted even today. Let's separate what we can prove from what remains speculation. The 1938-39 German expedition is documented fact. The Schwabenland voyage appears in German Federal Maritime Archives. Aerial survey photographs were recovered after the war and are now held in multiple national archives. The swastika markers were real. Post-war expeditions found several of them, rusted but intact, embedded in the ice. The territorial claim itself, naming the region Neuschwabenland, appears on German naval maps from 1939. U-boat movements toward the Antarctic are also documented. Submarine logbooks and post-war testimony confirm that at least 2 U-boats traveled far south in the final months of the war. What they carried, where they exactly went, and why they took those routes remain unclear. Operation High Jump is thoroughly documented. Official U.S. Navy reports describe the mission's scope, personnel, and equipment. What's missing is a clear explanation for the early termination. Some logs cite unusually difficult ice conditions. Others mention equipment failures and one fatal plane crash. But internal memos suggest operational concerns beyond weather. The speculation centers on what the Germans might have built. Some researchers point to geothermal caves, naturally heated spaces beneath the ice where structures could theoretically survive. Others mention German interest in heavy water and advanced weapons research. Documents confirm that Nazi scientists explored unconventional technologies in the final years of the war. Whether any of that reached Antarctica is unproven.